Hey everyone, Jeff Pyle with Farmobile here today, and I just wanted to go through and talk a little bit about some introduction pieces of Farmobile. We'll talk about a few things from the hardware all the way through the actual Farmobile DataEngine account that users will have, and then even getting into a little bit on data out to kind of showcase what happens with that data once it has the opportunity to leave the system as well too. So we'll go ahead and get started here and take a quick look at the first thing that we'll dive into, which is going to be the actual puck itself. So inside of the every subscription, our users will receive what's called the Farmobile PUC device. And so this is a universal device that sits in the cab of any agricultural piece of machinery. You'll see that there's different ports on here that allows the device to actually be able to connect up into the machine from multiple different interfaces here. So basically, whenever we sit down with a customer and understand what data they're trying to collect, what they're interested in collecting from an activity perspective, if that's planting, spraying, spreading, harvest, or just a device that sits in a truck for navigation purposes, then we're actually going to be able to sit down and understand what cabling they need as well too. So for example, in this case, this is going to come along with our standard cable, which is pretty generic with a 9-pin diagnostic port that plugs into the diagnostic port on many machines, and then this will actually plug into the puck itself. And then also there will be the actual antenna as well too. So this is something that the puck comes along with its own GPS and cellular. It's out of the box ready. It creates an opportunity for growers to be able to kind of get an introduction into precision agriculture if they've never had an opportunity to put GPS on a machine or anything like that. So right out of the box, it's ready to go, and it's tied into the customer's account. Basically, you'll see two ports here because there's also an opportunity for us to connect into other CAN systems as well too. So if there's any aftermarket providers that a customer would like to collect data for or anything else, it gives us an opportunity to have just other physical connections into the machine. So again, this is our 4th generation device. It has been released in late part of 2018. And as we go through, basically whenever this plugs in, the key is turned on a machine. If that's a spreader, sprayer, planter, or harvester or other piece of equipment, basically that data is going to go ahead and go into what we call our Farmobile DataEngine account here. So what we're going to kind of take a look at here next is going to be the actual we're going to put on our farmer hat and take a look at what planting looks like here. So we're going to take a look at that data. Whenever it's coming out of the puck, it's coming out second by second. And what's happening is that it is actually flowing into the customer's account. So like I said, whenever the Farmobile puck turns on, it connects up to Farmobile's database, and it'll go ahead and start streaming in this data. And so this is what we call real-time data in a sense that it's sending those packets up second by second and creating an opportunity for a real-time view for our customers here. So right now in our demo environment, I do only have the planter rolling, but you'll see that if they have a harvester or if a grower has their own sprayer, then that data will come across here as well too. And so basically whenever we are showing this view, the reason why it's showing planting is that whenever the puck is connected up to the machine, we're receiving planting messages. And so that's kind of our trigger indicator to go ahead and denote this as planting. For example, on harvest, if we're receiving mass flow, then that's going to create the trigger that this is a harvest activity. And so that'll make a little bit more sense whenever we take a look at the application a little bit later on here. But what's going to happen is that we're going to showcase if we have multiple machines lit up, they'll showcase right here, and we're going to show just a subset of information. Now what I'm going to do here is this planter is rolling north, I'm going to go ahead and drill into just that particular device. So once this goes ahead and loads, so we connect into many different machine makes and models and monitors. In this case, this particular machine is providing us with the agronomic information of average pop, actual row data sets. And then if we just continue to scroll down here, we'll continue to start see skips and doubles. And so this is coming across again second by second and streaming in out of the cab and into Farmobile's data engine. So getting that data out of the cab is super important for us. And so that's something that we've focused on at looking at that turnkey efficiency of getting that data into data engine. So that way you can then move into the right hands of wherever that data owner would like it to go. And so from here, you'll next see the next set of data, which is actually machine data. So we are collecting simultaneously not only machine, but or not only agronomic, but machine data as well. So we can see everything that's going on just as if we're in the cab, plus some extra parameters. So what's the engine load? What's the engine torque? Temperature, fuel rate. So understanding what's going on from that machine while just being able to check in on it. And so we're collecting all these data points here, and this is kind of our first view of what we're doing with it. It's probably one of our oldest legacy views here as well too. So once we get done with actually collecting the data, what happens? And so that's where we work with our customers to make sure that they have field boundaries. So you can see here I have an actual field boundary here. We follow the grower farm field format. And once that data is collected here in real time, then I'm going to go ahead and navigate over here to our fields section here where all of my field boundaries are. And so it's going to actually load up my field boundaries and take a look at just where they're at if I want to drill into a certain field and take a look at something. But what we're going to do here next, I'm going to actually look at EFRs. So the electronic field records, or EFRs, are the containers of data that we start to aggregate the data together in. So whenever I take a look at the EFRs, I can see that in this account I have 61 planting EFRs and 21 harvest EFRs. So again, with this being our demo account, please pay no attention to the worked acres since it's continuing to roll. But once we kind of drill into the planting acres EFR, that kind of filters everything down, so that way the user can quickly build up, in this case, average population maps that are coming across here. And then over here on the left, whenever we take a look at the actual crops and varieties, if our customers provide us with varieties, then those will be populated and aggregated in here as well too. So then that user then has the ability to come in here and take a look at all of their maps loading up right here. But then if they want to drill into a certain commodity or a certain variety and actually pinpoint where those fields are, then they would be able to. So if I take a look at corn, I'm then able to showcase where my corn acres are. And if I want to go back and look at not just corn, but my soybeans, then I can do that accordingly here as well too. So that filter creates the opportunity for the fields to actually filter down to what the customer is looking for in this case. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll back here to, again, back to just the plant side of things. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the 2020 filter. If I want to see what was done the previous day, I can do so. I can take a look at previous day, previous week, or previous month, and it's going to load up the electronic field records that was covered in that time frame that we denoted here. So if I take a look at the previous day, I have 2 fields that were covered, and this allows me to drill into those 2 fields. So again, creating a quick filter so that way we can understand what happened. So this is looking at it again from the farmer view. Whenever we go through, we are now at a new level, not only just looking at EFRs, but now at the actual field itself. So we can take a look at this field and look at the commodity that was planted, the population, but then the next time a machine covers over into this field, we're going to create the next card, which in this case is going to be the harvest card. And so this creates that opportunity for us to go in and aggregate everything together from a machine perspective. And if we have multiple machines in the field, Farmobile is stitching that data together. So that way the next day, then an electronic field record, which in this case only shows 1 puck was in the field, would show 2. So again, looking at a field boundary, they're very important for us to make sure we're focusing on working with our customer, because that's whenever we start to see the power of Farmobile's data engine to kind of come into play, to where we're seeing data stacked on top of each other from an agronomic sense, which is kind of where we started at with Farmobile. But then whenever I come in here and create more pieces of information that may not have been collected through the machine in the live view, but I can come in here and I can edit some things. So if I want to change the soybeans, if I want to actually add in my variety and give them the opportunity to do that, I can. If I did not do it live, I can do it through here. And then again, extra information. So if it had a cover crop on it, or if that was a cover crop, then that's can be denoted there as well. So another thing that's pretty important, this is one thing that we're doing here, is that we're collecting and showing agronomic data, but one thing that's super important is whenever we come in here, and I'm going to click on this ellipsis, and I want to view machine metrics. And this is where the grower can then come in here and look at things from a machine perspective as well too. So again, that's why it's so important that we're collecting the data that's coming off the machine, both agronomic and machine, because this is important information for our growers from our perspective, to be able to understand what is happening on the field, not just from an agronomic perspective, but whenever my operators are in the field, whenever I'm in the field, how efficient am I? What's my fuel? What's my working rate? And then it starts to allow our customers to drill into it a little bit more and understanding, well, how efficient is my machine in the field? Maybe my operational practices. If I'm taking a look at harvest, and if I want to go down here and take a look at the machine metrics for this machine, how much am I transporting in the field? How much am I idling in the field? It starts to create the question that someone might have: do I need another a grain cart? Do I have a grain cart? Am I efficient with my operational processes? Is my machine efficient? Do I have an older machine that maybe is showing that it's really inefficient here? And so we're showing this down on a field by field basis. And so that's kind of our basic breakdown of what an electronic field record is going to be for a grower. And so this is looking at both fields that are plant and harvest, and gives us an opportunity to drill into that. And there's some other functionality in here where a grower can come in and take a look at side-by-side views of yield versus the planting rates, so that way they can kind of play around with it here. So and just kind of spend a little bit of time and get to know the data. But a lot of times we're working with customers who are working with trusted advisors who are going to be helping them out with their insights as well too. And so that's where the data out part is going to come in. We'll take a look at that here next. If there's any questions that anyone might have, definitely give us a call at 844-337-2255, and we'll be happy to get you taken care of. You can also connect up with us at support@farmobile.com. So hopefully this was helpful for everyone here today to kind of have a little bit of an understanding of a little bit of an introduction of Farmobile, and I really appreciate you taking the time to watch it. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.